So, you've made the wise decision to build a website. That's an excellent move, given that in 2023, creating a digital presence, whether personal or business purposes, is crucial. In this video, I'll present my guide on creating your first WordPress website step by step. I'm Jake, a web creator. For a long time, I've designed hundreds of WordPress websites and taught thousands how to create them. From my experience, I've assembled this all-inclusive guide on creating a WordPress website, even if, and especially if, you don't know how to code. This is the extended version of the guide where I elucidate every concept and step. If you're pressed for time or prefer a brief version, you can find the short guide here. This guide is tailor-made for beginners. If you've never designed a website or aren't familiar with WordPress, you're in the right place. Grab a cup of coffee as we journey together through the next hour or so. We'll move from hitting the play button on this video to clicking publish on your first WordPress website. Ready to begin? Should you have a question or perhaps need clarification on something, don't hesitate to ask in the video comments section. I'm here to assist with any queries you may have as you create your first WordPress website. This is what I do best. Before diving into the website building process, let's clarify two critical points that might already be on your mind: the reasons for choosing WordPress and the associated costs. First, why opt for WordPress? Despite various website building platforms in 2023 like Wix, Squarespace, or Webflow, WordPress stands out as the superior and most professional choice. I'm not alone in my preferences for WordPress. Astonishingly, it powers 43% of all websites globally. This platform is the ultimate engine for websites, which means you're never on your own. You'll find WordPress communities willing to help with any challenges you may encounter across all social networks and worldwide. There's an array of WordPress freelancers on platforms like Upwork and Fiverr ready to assist with any difficulty. WordPress offers thousands of plugins and pre-made designs, helping you achieve attractive outcomes while saving time and costs. Based on my experience, having created hundreds of websites over the past decade, WordPress has provided solutions for all types of websites, from personal portfolios to complex content sites. WordPress is the top choice among web creators, developers, and designers who build the internet. Its biggest selling point is the full control it offers over your website. This flexibility distinguishes WordPress from its competitors. Being open source, WordPress grants you ownership over your content. You can freely move your site and content to another hosting provider, control the features, and design and even modify the operating system's source code. In summary, you can mold the WordPress environment to perfectly suit your needs. Having built dozens of websites for clients, helping them grow their businesses, and creating a website building business for myself, all with WordPress, I can confidently say it just works. So we've covered the why, but what's the cost of a WordPress site? Wait, isn't WordPress supposed to be free? You may have seen this somewhere. Well, the answer is no. Building a WordPress website does cost money. Although the WordPress CMS is open source and available for free download, you'll still incur costs for associated services like a domain name, storage and hosting, templates, a page builder, plugins, and so on. I'll delve into these details shortly. Calculating the exact cost of building a website can be tricky because it depends on numerous factors like the type of website you're building, special features, custom designs, development, visitor numbers, and so on. Plus, you'll need to factor in the time spent by a professional building your website. Essentially, there's no upper limit to how much you can invest in a website. In this guide, I will demonstrate how to create a basic WordPress website yourself for less than $200 per year. This adaptability is part of the beauty of WordPress. What components form a WordPress website? There are 6 elements to a WordPress site. Domain name. This is your website's address, for example, yourname.com. Hosting. This is where you'll store your website files. WordPress CMS. This helps manage your website content, including pages, images, permissions, and more. A theme. This dictates your website's overall structure. A website builder. This helps in building, designing, and editing your website's content. Plugins. These add extra functionality to your website. In the past, you had to gather these 6 components from various vendors, paying for each separately, installing each component independently, and dealing with any incompatibilities or complications on your own. Thankfully, things have changed for the better in 2023. So, how to build a modern, professional WordPress website without the headache? The answer is Elementor. What started as a page builder plugin in 2016 has grown into an industry-leading WordPress platform, providing everything you need for a superior WordPress website in one place. The Elementor package includes Elementor hosting, Elementor Hello theme, Elementor website builder plugin, Elementor library, and Elementor AI. Before we proceed, let's dissect each component Elementor brings to your WordPress website. This will help you rest assured that you're making the right choice. So, what does Elementor's all-in-one package contain? Elementor Hosting is a WordPress hosting plan that comes pre-configured with the WordPress CMS. It's designed to meet your website's exact needs. Rest assured your website will be fast, secure, and stable. The basic package of Elementor Hosting offers 10 gigabytes of storage, sufficient for an average business website, and 30 gigabytes of traffic volume, suitable for roughly 25,000 visitors per month. Elementor Hosting ensures 99.9% server uptime, industry-standard automatic WordPress updates, an integrated SSL certificate for security, a caching system for improved performance, and both automatic and manual website backups. The beauty of Elementor is that, unlike hosting companies that merely sell you a hosting plan and leave you to fend for yourself, Elementor offers an integrated solution: WordPress with a design kit, the Hello Elementor theme, and the Elementor Pro website builder plugin, all pre-installed. Hello Elementor is a WordPress theme specially designed for Elementor websites. It's a lean and fast basic template, devoid of unnecessary add-ons or code. Only what your website truly needs. How fast? Hello Elementor weighs a mere 6 kilobytes, allowing it to load in a quarter of a second. Hello Elementor is one of the most popular WordPress themes, with over 1 million active installations, and it's my personal choice for every WordPress website I build. Elementor Website Builder, the Pro version. Elementor Website Builder is the top builder in the WordPress realm. This modern and professional editor lets you build and edit every part of your website through a user-friendly drag-and-drop interface without requiring any coding skills. Elementor Website Builder is one of the most popular WordPress plugins of all time. It's installed on more than 13 million websites, available in multiple languages, and has received thousands of reviews from satisfied customers. Elementor Pro includes hundreds of features, with the team continuously innovating and improving it, adding new features almost every month. With Elementor Website Builder, you've got everything you could ever need. A drag-and-drop editor with over 100 widgets, a theme builder, animations and advanced design capabilities, galleries, carousels, a form builder, an interface for saving leads, built-in integrations for advanced automation tools, built-in integration with the popular online stores plugin, WooCommerce, and a marketing package that includes a landing page builder and a pop-up builder. For convenience, Elementor comes with hundreds of ready-made templates and designs to kickstart your building process. You can build anything from full websites, pages, landing pages, blocks, and pop-ups. Elementor AI is an AI-based interface that assists you in writing content, coding, and generating images for your website. This way, Elementor AI simplifies the process of adding an image or text to your site. You no longer need to create a WordPress site out of 10 different products, struggling to figure out how each works, dealing with multiple payments, compatibility issues, and bouncing between different support and customer services. At $120 per year, you'll have everything you need for a successful WordPress website. Even if all those technical terms seem overwhelming, take my advice and choose Elementor. It's tailor-made to meet your needs. Now, after that long introduction, it's time to get started. To get started, the first thing we need to do is go to the Elementor website at elementor.com and click on the Get Started button to begin. Next, we'll see a variety of pre-designed templates that we can use as a starting point for our website. Take a moment to scroll through the kits and see which one catches your eye. If you want to take a closer look at a kit, you can click here to preview it. You can also see what pages and templates come with the kit. This fashionista blog, for example, comes with a homepage, an about page, and other templates that fit a content creator. As we said earlier, Gabriel is a content creator that needs his own blog, so this fashionista blog kit is perfect for what he needs. So let's go ahead and click on the Start with this design button to begin customizing the website. Next, you'll need to create an Elementor hosting account. We'll go ahead and skip forward a little bit using the magic of video editing. Alright, it's time to start building your WordPress website with Elementor. Start by giving your website a name. I'll be using Gabriel Cooks because that's his handle on social media, but you can choose whatever you want. If you're still not sure, don't worry, you can change it at any time. Elementor Hosting assigns you with a temporary domain which we can change later. Now, wait while the kit loads, which may take a few seconds or up to a few minutes depending on your internet connection. Once it's ready, click Let's Go to begin customizing your new website. This will take you straight to the Elementor editor, where you can start adding your own content and customizing the design to suit your needs. Now that you have created your account and chose the right plan for you, it's important to get familiar with your account dashboard. After all, this is where you'll do things like connecting a domain and removing the site lock to release your website to the World Wide Web. Firstly, here is my website that I just created. Any additional websites will appear here in this section. On the left here is my navigation to access the main areas of my account. There are options for subscriptions, teams, FAQ and support, community. Here on the top right is my avatar, and here I can view and edit my profile information. Back to the website. If I hover over my website, you'll see several options. The first one will have you jumping in and editing your homepage using Elementor right away. And the second one will take you to the WordPress dashboard. I will select Manage this website, and let's check this out together. This is the website management screen, and here you can connect your custom domain name and enable email authentication before you launch your website. Next, you'll find the site lock option. As long as it's on, your website will be hidden from the outer world. But if you want to show your progress or want to get an opinion from a trusted friend, you can share this pin with them so they can privately view it. Down here, you'll find your website's backups. Elementor Hosting takes daily backups automatically for you. Very handy if you ask me. If you want to, you can still create a manual backup before you make any changes to your website. Finally, you'll see the debugging and troubleshooting options, in case you need further investigation or if something isn't clear. But with an Elementor hosted website, you most likely won't need it. But just in case, it's here. Now it's time to choose a website kit to start with. Start by hovering your mouse over Categories and clicking on it. From there, hover over Search and choose the category that you're interested in. In this example, we'll choose the blog category. Next, hover over the Fashion Blog website kit and click on What's Inside to take a closer look at the kit. Scroll down to see all the pages and elements that are included. If you like what you see, click Start with this kit to begin. Wait while the kit loads, which may take a few seconds or up to a few minutes depending on your internet connection. Once it's ready, click Let's Go to begin customizing your new website. This will take you straight to the Elementor editor, where you can start adding your own content and customizing the design to suit your needs, which we'll show you how in a bit. Alright, you're now on your way to creating a beautiful WordPress website with Elementor. We'll talk about Elementor in detail in a minute, but it's important to understand first the basics of WordPress and how it works. To do that, let's exit the Elementor editor and go to the WordPress dashboard. We can do that using the hamburger menu and clicking Exit. Welcome to the WordPress dashboard. When exiting the Elementor editor or logging into your website admin, you'll be greeted by this dashboard. The dashboard is like the control center of your website, where you can manage all aspects of your site, from creating and editing content to customizing the design. Starting from the top, we have the admin toolbar, which gives us quick access to different actions and tools. These features change and update based on where we are on our website, the back end or the front end, for example. This toolbar is available on every page of the website and can only be seen by logged in users. Let's go over each one of the options and see what's available to us. From the left, we have this WordPress icon. Clicking on it will take us straight to the WordPress dashboard, and we can always preview our site clicking on the name of our website, seen here. Right next to it, we can see if we have any updates available. We can also view new comments and have access to quick actions such as creating a new page, a new post, adding users, and more. We also have other features based on the plugins we install. For example, Elementor adds this support option at the end of the admin toolbar, but we can also chat with support directly using this icon at the bottom right corner. Now, let's take a look at the left-hand side of the dashboard. You'll see a vertical menu with various options. Let's go over some of the key features and what they do. At the top, you have the dashboard section, which gives you an overview of your site's activity, including recent posts, comments, and statistics. Moving down the menu, we have the activity log. It's a valuable plugin that is pre-installed on any Elementor hosting website and keeps a record of all activities on your website. It provides an audit trail to monitor user behavior, troubleshoot issues, and enhance security. Next, we have WordPress's main event, the posts section. Here, you can create new blog posts, manage existing ones, and even schedule them to be published at a later date. It's where you'll spend a lot of time crafting engaging content for your audience. Don't worry, we'll go into more details about this section later in the video. Clicking here will take us to the media library, or we can click here to add new media. Next, we have pages. Pages allow you to create static content like an about page, contact page, or any other important information you want to share with your visitors. We can explore comments by clicking here. And over here, we have all the Elementor settings and templates, where we can access saved templates, pop-ups, or go to the theme builder. We'll discuss this in more detail shortly. Oh, and by the way, if at any point you want to change the kit you've chosen, you can do that using the kit library. In the appearance section, you can control the visual aspects of your WordPress website, such as installing a theme, customizing it, and editing the different menus. Under plugins, you'll find a wide range of, plugins. Plugins add new features and functionality to your WordPress website. From SEO optimization to contact forms and social media integrations, plugins are like little power-ups that can enhance your site in countless ways. For example, Elementor Website Builder is a plugin and one of my personal favorites, if we're being honest. Next, we have the users section. This is where you can manage users' accounts on your website. And finally, we have tools and settings. Here, you'll find various options to configure your website's general settings, including permalink structure and more. Welcome to the Elementor editor, where all your wildest dreams come true, assuming those dreams are web building related, that is. The editor is divided into three main areas: the content area on the right side, the panel on the left side, and the top bar. Let's begin from the top, the editor top bar, that is. This top bar gives you easy access to some settings and features we'll explore now. Starting from the left, you'll see this Elementor icon. Clicking on it opens a drop-down with several options. The Elementor Theme Builder, which is used to design site parts templates. These templates append and override the current WordPress theme's page hierarchy, layout settings, and CSS styles. Remember when I said Page Builder makes it easier to design our whole website? This is why. Don't worry, we'll cover the Theme Builder in detail later in the video. In case we make any mistakes, it's good to know we can go back in time and fix them by going through our page's history, found here. We can also use this to revert back to previous revisions. Underneath the page history, you'll find user preferences and keyboard shortcuts. User preferences allow you to customize the Elementor interface, such as switching to dark mode, and where to be directed once we exit the page. Speaking of exiting pages, we can use this menu whenever we want to go back to the WordPress dashboard. Now, we can't really build a website without any elements, right? Add new elements, or widgets, by clicking the plus icon, which will open the widgets library. These are creative elements which you can use to build your page, like a heading, text editor, images, videos, and more. Next, we have site settings. Site settings, as it sounds, allows you to globally define your site settings all from one place. We'll get back here a little later in the video. Click this icon to display an organized view of our page elements. As we use the kit, we already have the content set up and named. Pretty cool, huh? Next, you can use the Explore button to access any recent pages you've worked on, or alternatively use the Finder tools found at the right side of the top bar to find specific pages. Or access the page or post settings depending on what you're editing at the moment. This area is divided into 3 tabs. Settings, where you can edit the page's or post's name, publish status, and choose a featured image and other settings. Style, where we can set style options for the entire page or post. And Advanced, with advanced options for the page or post. Moving on the rest of the options along the top bar, we have these device icons. Your website will probably be visited by users using their mobile phone though, like 51% of them. Although using Elementor will most likely create responsive pages and posts, we better make sure of it. We can do that by using the responsive feature found here, which will present this toolbar at the top of our screen. Here we can view and edit our page in tablet and mobile views and see how our content will react in different sizes. Some widgets setting will show these icons as well, suggesting that the specific setting can be customized for every screen. View page to see your live website, and exit to go back to your WordPress dashboard. We can preview our changes, and when ready to take them live, just hit this Publish button. There are other save options as well, which I'll talk about later when discussing the theme builder. Now for the big event, the Elementor editor. This is where all the magic happens. As you can see, our content area already displays the homepage from the kit we chose. This is where you can add and edit elements that form the layout and design of your page. The content area is made out of 2 main elements. The first element is Flexbox containers, which, as the name suggests, are flexible boxes that contain your page's content. Containers allow you to efficiently build your page and design it so it automatically adjusts to different screen sizes. They are easily identified by the pink handle at the top of the container. You can also place containers within containers to create more complicated layouts. These inner containers can be identified by a thick frame and a Flexbox container icon at the upper left corner. Next are widgets. These are the elements that are used to actually build your page. You have different types of widgets, from a simple headline and text paragraph to complex forms. You can identify the widget by their pink frame and icon on the upper right corner. Clicking an existing widget or dragging in a new one will change our panel to show the widget's settings. As you can see, this setup is pretty familiar to the page settings, only this time it's for a single widget. The first tab is Content, where we can add, edit, and define the widget's, content. These settings change based on the widget's nature and purpose. In this case, we clicked on a heading widget, so we can change the text, add a link, edit the HTML tag, and set the alignment. The second tab, Style, is where we can change the widget's style, such as color or typography. The last tab, Advanced, is where the advanced settings can be found. It's pretty straightforward, not gonna lie. In this tab, we can set the widget's margin and padding, add motion effects, a mask, and more. Kits are pre-made templates containing these widgets with the appropriate style and settings. It might feel like a lot at the moment, but I promise it will all make sense once we go over it. Now that we're familiar with the Elementor editor, let's make our first official steps to customizing our website. And to do that, we're going to use a bit of style. Global style, that is. In the editor panel, click here to go to Site Settings. This is where you'll edit settings that will affect the entire website. Our next step is to change the global colors of the site here. When building your website, your fonts and colors should be the same across your entire site, thus improving the overall look. If fonts and colors vary among pages or different site parts, your users can get confused. This can negatively impact user retention and may cost you sales. You should use font and color continuity across your site to reinforce your brand and help users remember it. Every Elementor website comes with 4 main global colors seen here, but you can always add your own colors and position them in the list to your liking. Each kit comes with global colors and fonts that are used across the website, so changing these values will automatically affect every element using these styles. Since I already know the colors I want, I'll go ahead and update the values. This kit is amazing, but it's a little dark for my taste, or rather Gabriel's taste. Since we don't want this black background, let's go ahead and remove it. When you change a color, its name might not make sense anymore, like this color for example. You can edit the names by clicking on them with your cursor. Once you're done, click Update to save your changes. As for the global fonts, we'll change them throughout this video as we go along with customizing the website. As you can see, the website changes dramatically with just a few clicks. Next, we'll edit one of the most important things on any website, the header. Hovering over it, we can see it has a green border around it instead of a pink one. Whenever we see this, it means this element is a site part and is editable via the theme builder. Let's make a few changes by clicking Edit Header. Now you'll see the frame has changed to pink, meaning we're working with these elements now. Clicking on the settings icons shows we're working on the header. This header is pretty simple. It has one container with a logo and the navigation menu. Let's start by changing the logo. Click the logo widget and then click Change Site Logo. We can see this allows us to edit the website name and description as well as set up the site logo and favicon. I'll use this opportunity to update the site description to Gabriel's catchphrase. Let's get cooking, followed by uploading his logo and an icon for the website. We can adjust the width in the Style tab. I'll set it to 250 pixels and remove the height. Remember I said we can edit some options for responsive design? This icon indicates we can adjust these settings for different device sizes, which is exactly what I'm going to do for tablet and mobile devices. Once you're done, go back to desktop view. Alright, now let's move on to the navigation menu. This is where Gabriel's website visitors will navigate through his content, so we want to make sure it looks good and aligns with his brand. First, let's add a little bit of animation to the menu text. When a user hovers over the menu item, we want it to rotate a little bit and catch their attention. We can do this by making sure the pointer is set to text and in the animation is set to rotate. Next, let's change the text color using the new global colors we set up earlier. We'll also want to customize the typography for the menu links to use a font that better fits Gabriel's brand. Since we haven't updated the typography yet, let's do that now. As you can see, this kit uses a global font called Menu Links. Let's update it by clicking the gear icon and changing the typography values. I'm going with Startliches for this one, and 22 pixels seems about right. Now, let's take a look at how the menu looks on a tablet and mobile device before we hit update. We want to make sure it looks great on any device, so we'll adjust the font size and spacing as needed. Once everything is ready, hit the update button and exit the site settings. Now that we've got the header looking good, it's time to move on to the footer. Let's start by clicking on Edit Footer. Right off the bat, you can see this footer is made up of a main container with 2 containers in it, each with different elements. Changing the text is always a good start, so let's click on the Heading widget and change the text to something more engaging. How about "let's get talking"? That's kind of his catchphrase, and it's a great way to start a conversation. Next, click on the heading below it and change the text to something that reflects Gabriel's friendly personality. Now, let's change the email address to Gabriel's official email. Looking at the link settings, you'll notice a wrench icon. This means this is a dynamic data or action. In this case, contacting Gabriel via email. We can use all sorts of dynamic information, but now let's just update Gabriel's correct email address. Next up, let's add some social media links for Gabriel's fans to connect with him. We'll click on the icon list widget and open up the Facebook tab. Once we're done with it, we can move on to the final piece of this footer, the credit line. Clicking the credit line, we can see it's a text editor widget using a dynamic tag. Click the wrench icon to show its settings. This is a dynamic tag showing the date and time, in this case, the current year. This means we won't have to manually update it, which is pretty helpful if you ask me. Click Advanced and update the appropriate text. And that's it for the footer text. Now that we've finished updating the footer text, we need to add some style to it. We want to make sure the style we choose fits Gabriel's brand. So let's get started by clicking the main heading and head over to the Style tab. Go to Typography and click the gear icon to edit the font style. This footer uses 3 styles, which are the primary and secondary fonts, as well as related post title and footer social. Begin by styling the primary font and setting the style of your choosing. For Gabriel's site, I've chosen Startliches, which is a Google font. Whatever style you choose, make sure it's consistent across all devices. Do the same for the secondary font. In this case, I went with Montserrat, with a size of 26 pixels, and changed the weight, line height, letter spacing, and word spacing. Again, make sure the style is consistent across different devices. You already know the drill, so I'll go ahead and update related post title and footer social fonts off screen to save some time. Once you're done, don't forget to update your changes, and done. Now that we have the colors and fonts set up, update the color of the icon list along with the hover color. Do the same for the container's background, as shown here. Alright, this looks pretty good, but it's a bit too stale if you ask me. Let's add some of Gabriel's flair to it using a shape divider. Shape dividers are graphic shapes that separate the containers of a page and are a great way to make certain transitions between sections pop out a little more. Click the container, then go to Style and open the Shape Divider tab. You have a bunch of cool options to choose from. Since I know what Gabriel likes, I already chose the wave brush. Set the width and height that fits your design, and toggle flip on if you need to. Now, this is cool and all, but a bit too crowded. We can free some space by going to the Advanced tab and set the top margin to 6% and the top padding to 3%. And finally, click to update your changes. This header and footer will stay consistent throughout our site. Now that we're done with the footer, we can start editing our homepage by clicking here. Okay, great. We're about to start editing and styling our homepage. How exciting. Let's start with the hero section. Click on the hero headline and let's change the text. Just like the site's description, Gabriel's catchphrase works well for this. Next, go to the Style tab. We haven't updated this global font yet, so I'll do that now. Once that's out of the way, update the remaining text and replace the image. Click the image widget and click Choose Image. You can upload a new media file or choose an existing one from the media library. Lucky for me, I've already uploaded all the images I need. Let's stylize this image a bit by going to Style and rounding up those corners using the border radius setting. Next, update the remaining images, starting with the left one. We can change the size in the Style tab. Something doesn't quite feel right. Let's adjust this by using the Advanced tab. We'll be using the Transform option, which is great to make those tiny tweaks that make the entire layout better. We can use the Transform option to rotate, scale, skew, and more. In this case, I want to rotate the image a little bit. That's it. Much better. Now for the second image, we'll update the image, set up the size, and no, this doesn't work either. I want to move the image a little bit, so to do that, I'll be using the position settings also found in the Advanced tab. Set the position to absolute. Now, a word about absolute positioning. Absolute positioning allows us to place elements anywhere on the page, which is especially useful for us pixel perfectionist folks. That being said, we need to use it with caution, since custom positioning is not considered best practice for responsive web design, so we shouldn't use it too frequently. Back to our image. This means it will stay in this exact location. Next, I'll set the horizontal offset and the vertical offset. Great! Already the site looks much more like Gabriel's site. Next, let's edit the bio section of the page. Changing the global colors and some of the fonts already made a huge difference. All that's left to do here is change the text. As for the button, just a few minor tweaks are necessary. To start, go to the Style tab and change the global fonts and colors. I also want to add a bit of space. We'll do that using the padding. Now, this is okay, but I don't like those angled corners, so let's fix that by changing the border radius. But that's not all. We want to make the button even more engaging, so we're going to add a hover effect that rotates the button slightly. This will catch our visitor's eye and make the button irresistible. Moving on. We'll do that using the Transform option in the Advanced tab. But instead of just changing the Rotate option, go over to Hover and change it there. Now the button will rotate slightly whenever a user hovers over it. Before we finish with the button, I want to resize it. So head back to the Layout tab and under Width, choose Custom and set the appropriate value. Pretty cool. Finally, align the container to the center by using the Align Items option. This is what I meant when I said containers allow you to efficiently build your page. Now that we're done here, let's move on to changing the Posts section, where we'll be showcasing Gabriel's amazing recipes. I like the idea of showing Gabriel's recipes here, but this layout is too bulky. We need to scroll a lot to view every post, so we're going to have to change this layout. Also, these titles don't really work together at the moment. Let's fix that with a few simple changes. First, let's divide this lost list of posts into 2 columns to make it a bit easier on the eyes. Click the Posts widgets, go to Content, and let's set the columns to 2. Next, we'll clean it up a bit by removing this date under the metadata section. Moving on to the Style tab, we can update the look and feel of these posts to better match the style we've already established for Gabriel. I also want to round those image corners, so under the image, I'll set the border radius to 50 pixels. You know what? I'll also make sure the spacing is set to 0 and adjust the content padding to 30 pixels. Looking much better already. Now it's time to focus on the text style. We'll open the Content tab and select Typography for Post Hashtag. We haven't set this global font up yet, so let's do that now. You know the drill. While I'm here, I'll also set the style for the accent global font. Save your changes and go back to editing the page. Final step, I'll remove the spacing here and make sure it looks good on different devices. And that's it. We have Gabriel's homepage ready. Now it's time to update Gabriel's About page. Simply click on the Finder or use Command or Control plus E on your keyboard and type in About. Now click on this page to edit the About page. See you there. Our goal is to update the page as to reflect Gabriel's unique brand and share his personal story as a creator. But before we jump into it, why is it so crucial to have an About page on your website? Having an About section on your website or page is a must-have. It's like introducing yourself to your crush, but for your audience. It's a chance to showcase who you are, what you stand for, and why people should care. By sharing your story and values, you build trust and credibility with your audience, which can lead to more engagement, loyalty, and sales. Plus, it makes your content more relatable and personable. So don't skip this section or your audience might skip you. Okay, now we got that out of the way, let's dive right in. As you can see, most of the heavy lifting was made for us by changing the global fonts and colors. All we have left to do here is change the content. First, I'll update the headings. I want something that captures the essence of Gabriel's mission, like everyone can cook. It's a quote of a great chef, of course. Next, add a touch of personality and share Gabriel's story. Gabriel always had a passion for cooking, and it was nurtured from a young age. I think people could identify with something like that. But you know what's actually missing from this page? Gabriel, of course. The About page is the perfect spot to show yourself off or show off your team, or even both. I'll change the image to show Gabriel and change the border radius to fit the style we've established earlier. As for the smaller image, I'll change it to one of the illustrations and make small adjustments to the width. Also, this doesn't work for me here, so let's make a few adjustments. First, I'll go back to the Content tab and realign it to the center. Then, going to the Advanced tab, I'll change the position to Absolute. This will give more control over the placement of this image using horizontal and vertical offsets. And finally, I'll rotate it a little. Now, just make sure it looks good on other devices as well, and make any adjustments as needed. Perfect. With this first section taking shape, we can continue to the rest of the page. Scrolling further, we can see this section is a bit repetitive. It might have worked for the Fashionista blog, but for Gabriel it just doesn't work. Let's get the momentum going by updating all the content here. Since I already wrote it beforehand, this is a simple act of copy and paste. Don't worry, I'll speed this up a bit using the editing magic so you don't have to sit through it all. Great! Now that we've finished with updating the text, we can see that this global style needs a little update. Working like this is helpful because I can see exactly the effects of changing a specific global font or color. I already explained how to edit it, but in case you forgot, you can edit the global style using this gear icon, which will take you to the global settings. Then, make any changes you like. And don't forget to check it on both tablet and mobile devices. I'm already here, so I'll update the style of the body text as well. Don't forget to update your changes. And done. Looking much better. Next up, let's fix this image to show a bit more of Gabriel. I'll start by updating the image. This size doesn't work for me, so I'll adjust the width and align it to the center. Also, I want to make it a circle, so let's go to the Style tab and make sure we add a corner radius of, elliptical works too, but it's not what I'm aiming for. We can quickly fix this by going to the Advanced tab and toggle the mask option on. This option allows us to set shape masks for our images, as well as add your own. But for this situation, the default circle mask is perfect. Now, let's update the smaller image using another one of Gabriel's illustrations and make the relevant changes. We also have this text here at the bottom, so I'll just update the content and align it to the center. Looking good. Now that we've finished updating the About page, I want to add a little bit of flair to it. Don't get me wrong, this is an awesome starting point and you can leave it as is. But I want to add something to show more of Gabriel's personality. I'll start by adding more colors to our global colors, specifically red pepper and green lettuce. You don't have to name your colors, it's just something I like to do to keep everything nice and organized. Now that I have more colors in my palette, I'll change the color of the headlines and make a few small adjustments using the settings we learned about before, such as rotate and offset settings. We don't have to repeat everything though. We can easily copy this style by right-clicking this heading and pasting the style on another heading. Perfect. Now I'll just adjust the colors and the rotation angle. And let's just get rid of the offset. Okay, so we've made some adjustments to the design, but there are a few things I want to change in this layout. I want to move this heading over here so I can add images later on. This could have been complicated if we wouldn't be using Flexbox containers, which allow us to create complex layout. Flexbox containers allow us to place items in a column or row, control their alignment in relation to each other or the container, and wrap items so they fit comfortably on any device. In this instance, I'll be using the wrap setting to make sure the heading is right where I want it to be. And I'll make sure to justify the content to the end. That way, the heading will be on the right side of the screen. Perfect. Now, all that's left to do is edit the rotation settings so that the heading rotates clockwise and fits better on the screen. Looking good. So, we've finished customizing the headings and moved them to the sides, but now we have these empty spaces on the page. This would be a perfect spot to add some more illustrations of food to better represent Gabriel's connection to, well, food. I'll start by going to the Widgets panel and dragging a new image widget. Choose an image and set the width using the Style tab. Next, I'll make a few adjustments, making sure the style is kept consistent throughout the page. I'll add a bit of rotation and position the image using the absolute options. Make sure you check your design looks great on other devices. Now that I have that image set up, I can just copy it and paste it here. Then, make a few tweaks like changing the image for starters and editing the settings to make sure the image works on the other side of the page. And again, make sure to check the settings for different devices. And we're done. Now that the About page is done, we can continue to edit another page on our website, like the single post template, for example. Same as before, use the Finder using Command or Control E to navigate through the site. Search for single post and click the first result. See you there. Welcome to the single post template. As the name suggests, the design we'll be working on will be used as a template for single posts on our website. In this case, recipes and other blog posts. This means that no matter what we design here, each new blog post Gabriel creates will have this design. Quite handy, huh? The first thing you may notice is that this template has a black background, which is the exact opposite of what we've been working with. Easily change this by clicking on the gear icon. Then go to Style and remove the background color. Perfect. The following changes are also quite simple since we did most of the heavy lifting with updating the global styles. I'll simply edit the style of the post title's color and also the post info. And since this container has background that doesn't quite fit this style anymore, I'll remove it. We already established that Gabriel's style is more rounded, using circles, elliptical images, and rounded fonts, so I'll round this image corners by 50 pixels. I'll also update the post excerpt's color and the post navigation style right here at the bottom of the post. Before we continue to the sidebar, this area is looking a bit bland. Let's shake things up a bit by adding a cute divider. Simply drag the divider widget here and set the style you think is right. I chose the dotted one, since it's the one that fits the overall vibe of the website. A best practice is to dim the opacity or hue of a divider, as to not make it too distracting for the user. I'll also change the weight and gap. Looking good. Now that we got the main post style out of the way, we need to make a few changes to this sidebar. The overall style doesn't match the primary part of the page, and the typography clearly needs an update. I'll start by clicking the Posts widget on the side of the page that displays the related posts. I want to make a few small tweaks to the spacing, specifically to the content padding and round those image corners, and image spacing. Now update the color, remove the background. Once you have all your global styles and main theme of the site ready, this is all pretty straightforward. This single post looks amazing, but it has one last thing missing. People don't know who wrote it. I want to add an author box, but to do that, we kind of need to leave this page behind for a little bit. Let's save our changes, and using the Finder, go to the Users section of the WordPress dashboard. Every user on your WordPress website can be managed here. Managing users in WordPress is like running a bustling kitchen. You have different roles and responsibilities, each with their unique role to play. Think of your website as a fine dining establishment, and you're the head chef orchestrating the culinary magic. First up, we have the executive chef, also known as the administrator. These are the big shots, the ones with all the power and control overseeing the entire operation. Just like an executive chef, they have the power to create, modify, and manage all aspects of your website. They keep everything running smoothly, just like a well-oiled kitchen. Next, we have the sous chefs, or the editors, who are like the right-hand chefs to the head chef. They have the authority to create and manage content, but they can't tinker with the main recipes. They assist the head chef and ensure that everything is executed to perfection, just like those skilled sous chefs in a bustling kitchen. Moving on to line cooks, also known as authors, who are the backbone of any kitchen. They can create and publish their own content, but they work within the guidelines set by the head chef. They bring their culinary expertise to the table and contribute their unique experience and techniques, just like those talented line cooks who whip up mouth-watering dishes. Now let's talk about the prep cooks, the contributors, the unsung heroes who lay the foundation for every culinary masterpiece. They chop, dice, and prep the ingredients, adding that extra flair and preparation to the dishes. Simply put, contributors can create and contribute content, but it requires a little approval before it goes live. Last but not least, we have the diners, or as you call them, subscribers. They are like the guests, eagerly waiting to indulge in your tasty creations. They can log in, leave comments, and interact with your content, just like diners savoring every bite at a restaurant. They're the heart and soul of your website's community. You can add new users, edit existing ones, or delete unwelcome guests in your WordPressy kitchen. Managing users in WordPress is all about creating a vibrant kitchen atmosphere where each role contributes to the culinary symphony. Just like in a well-organized kitchen, you'll assign the roles, set permissions, and ensure everyone works in harmony. Remember, as the head chef of your own WordPress kitchen, it's your responsibility to keep things organized and secure. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, right. We were just about to add an author box. Before we can do that, let's update Gabriel's user information by clicking Edit. First, I'll update his first and last names. You can also decide how a user's name will be displayed, like showing the first name, their full name, or even a nickname. Next up, add a short bio. This will help readers get to know you better and add a more personal feeling to the article or recipe. The profile picture is set up by Gravatar. You can change it by clicking here and change your profile picture on the Gravatar website. Then every website that uses a Gravatar will have that profile image, which is associated with your email address. All done. Let's update our changes and go back to the single page template. Back in the single page template, drag a new author box widget right at the top of the sidebar. As you can see, the author box displays the information we've just added to the user. This data will change based on whoever is responsible for writing the article or recipe. Most of these will be Gabriel's, but this is helpful in a situation where you have multiple authors or even guest writers. Now let's make a few changes. First, I'll set the image to be at the top of the box, align the content to the center, and set the image size. I want to make this box pop a little more, so I'll add a background color to it. But I'll change the content style first using global fonts and colors. Go into the Advanced tab. Set a background color. Yeah, and those corners need trimming too. You already know what to do with that border radius, right? Okay, this is good, but I don't like this spacing. The round profile picture makes it look too cramped. Unlink the padding and use a different padding just for the top of the widget. And since we're here, change the gap between the elements in this container's layout settings. Perfect. I love this single post template. Next up, the newsletter pop-up. I'll use my trusty Find a Friend here to go there quickly. Now that Gabriel's site has most of the content set up, we need to let people know about it using Gabriel's very own newsletter. But in a world dominated by social media, why are newsletters so important? Well, just like a secret ingredient that brings out the flavors in a dish, newsletters are a powerful tool to engage with your audience. They allow you to share exciting updates, exclusive offers, or in Gabriel's case, mouth-watering recipes directly with his loyal fans. It's like serving up a piping hot plate of fresh content right to your inbox. There are several options to create your very own newsletter, such as MailerLite, MailChimp, ConvertKit, and others. All of them are great options, but we will not be discussing them in this video. So, how do we get people to sign up to the newsletter? The most common approach includes having a subscription form on every article and also adding a pop-up that pops up when a reader tries to leave the website. Consider this your one last chance to communicate with your website visitors before they leave. Luckily, this kit already has one such pop-up, which means all we have to do is customize it to fit Gabriel's style and set up the form to work with Gabriel's newsletter. Pop-ups work pretty much the same as other pages and templates in Elementor, where the content is made up of containers. Using the navigator, we can see the entire pop-up is made of a single container, with the content divided into two separate containers. This allows for more control over your design and keeps everything nice and organized. I'll start by updating this heading content and changing its style. Next, update the form style. Don't forget about that button. I'll also add a small rotation whenever a user hovers over it with their cursor. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's change the background of this pop-up. Make sure we choose the right container. Change this image to show this illustration of a tasty pie. And voila! This pop-up already looks great. Just a few more small adjustments. I'll round this corner using a border radius here, and change this close icon to better fit the overall style of the website. I also want to make this pop-up to pop a little more. You can do that by adding an overlay background in the pop-up settings, which will dim the rest of the content. Don't worry, this overlay will disappear once the pop-up is closed. Let's see. Now, this color might work, but it's a bit much. I'll lower the opacity. Perfect. All done. Save your changes and let's move on to the next step. Go to your menu and click on Theme Builder. The Elementor Theme Builder is used to create site part templates, such as the header, the footer, a single page template, or a single post template, which we use to style Gabriel's recipes. These templates append and override the current WordPress themes page hierarchy, layout settings, and CSS styles, and each one of them has its own visibility options. For example, Gabriel's header is set to be displayed throughout the entire website, whilst the single post template is set to override only blog posts. But we can also decide to have specific templates for different categories. Pop-ups have their own display conditions, like the one we just worked on, which is displayed when a user exits the window. The theme builder also shows us parts of the website which we may not have thought about, like the error 404 page, which many times goes unnoticed. That's a shame because it's quite a useful page to use. In the next part of this tutorial, I'll show you all about it. So let's jump right in. We've finished editing the pop-up. Now it's time to customize the one page not many people care about, the dreaded error 404 page. Honestly, this page doesn't really get the credit it deserves. If one of your website's visitors tries to access a page that doesn't exist on your site, they'll see the same message, which can be frustrating for them if your 404 page isn't optimized. We can fix that by creating a custom 404 page that matches the rest of your website and helps your visitors get to the right spot. It's also a great opportunity to show a little bit more of our personality with a relevant copy and a carefully thought out call to action. Luckily for us, The Elementor kits come with an Error 404 page template already included. So all we have to do is customize this page to fit the rest of our website. As with all the pages we edited until now, start by updating the text. Next, let's adjust the margin of the heading using the Advanced tab and adjust the bottom margin to -60. This will help position the heading in the right place. Now, let's change the image and use a mask for this image as well, like we did for the About page. Don't forget about the second image as well. Its position is a bit off, so I'll adjust it using the position setting in the Advanced tab. Next, edit the remaining text, making sure to adjust the margin as needed. Finally, let's edit the button and make sure to let people know clicking on it will take them back to the home page. Thing is, we already stylized a button like this before. Instead of stylizing this button all over again, we can copy an existing style. Save your changes and using the Finder with Command or Control E, head over to the home page. Where you can right-click on a widget and click Copy to copy it or its style. Now let's head back to the Error 404 page using the Finder. Right-click on the button and choose Paste Style. Pretty easy, right? A simple copy-paste. Okay, copy-paste style. You know what I mean. Now, let's adjust this button's margin a little bit. And done. Don't forget to save your changes. Phew, that was quite the journey. We customized our own homepage and a pop-up. We customized an About page. We then continued to customize a single post template and finished with an Error 404 page just in case a user finds their way to a page that's not been found. Pretty neat, huh? Next up, we'll see how to create a new post using the built-in WordPress block editor, as well as how to create our own customized posts with Elementor. As I said earlier, Gabriel wants to use this website to publish recipes, as well as personal stories and updates. At the beginning, WordPress was created to be an all-in-one solution for bloggers, and later became the powerhouse it is today, used by web creators like yourself around the world. That's why WordPress gives us a very user-friendly way to add new posts. And because we already have a single post template we created earlier, every new post we publish will be pre-designed, saving us a lot of time. Alright, let's dive right in and go to posts. Every new post we create will be displayed here and can be sorted or filtered by author, categories, tags, and date. To begin, click Add New to create a new post. Let's take a look at the layout. If you've ever worked on a document, this layout probably looks familiar. Our content will be on the left, while the right side is reserved for block and document settings. And much like Elementor, we have this top bar with various different options. For example, we can click this icon to go back to the WordPress dashboard, or click this plus icon to add a new block. We'll go into more detail about how they work in a minute. We can also undo or redo different actions when working on a new post, and view a list of all the blocks we are using in the document overview, which works similarly to Elementor's structure window. Next, we have the Edit with Elementor. This allows us to design each post using Elementor's capabilities. In the right of the screen, we have different publishing options and additional settings found here. That's it for the top bar. Now let's see how we can create our posts. Begin by adding your post's title, then continue writing your posts. You can create another block by simply clicking Enter or clicking this plus icon. The most common blocks you will probably be using are the heading block, paragraph block, and the image block. But you can see all the different blocks that are available to you by clicking Browse All. Lucky for me, Gabriel already had a recipe ready, so we can use that to see how blocks work. Clicking a block will show the block options as well as change the display on the right side of our screen. First, we have the block icon, indicating its purpose. clicking this icon allows us to change the block to a different one. We can move the block to a different place by dragging it or using the arrow icons. Every block shows different options you can set for it. For example, this paragraph block presents alignment options as well as styling options here, while heading blocks show the type of heading. Now, when we're done writing our post, we can set the post settings here. First, we have a summary of our post. We can set who can see the post once it's live. This is also where we can give our post a unique URL, which will only be possible once we saved it as a draft or published it. Next, we can add categories and tags to our posts, which help us organize our content. We can also add a featured image, which will be used whenever we share our posts, and a short excerpt that will help readers understand what the post or recipe is about. Once we're done setting everything up, we can finally hit publish to publish it. And of course, we can always preview the new post by clicking here. As you can see, the entire post design is set by the single post template. But what if we want a more customized article? To put it plainly, what if we want to use Elementor? Well, we can do that, which is exactly what we're going to talk about next. We can use Elementor to customize our blog posts and, in Gabriel's case, recipes, by clicking Edit with Elementor. Let's do that now. This will open the familiar Elementor editor and convert all the blocks in our post into a single text editor widget. But if we want to work with different elements on our page, we need to separate this text into different widgets. Beginning with the first paragraphs, I'll cut the text and paste it into a new text editor widget. Oh, wait, it looks like this container is set up to display content in a row instead of a column. Let's change that by clicking the container and remove the direction. Perfect. Let's separate the remaining text to widgets. Now that we have all the elements separated into different widgets, it's time to customize this post a little bit. Editing posts with Elementor is a great opportunity to use different widgets Elementor provides, such as adding an embedded YouTube video for a tutorial, adding a map for a place recommendation, or using more complex options such as showing a gallery or adding a price table. In Gabriel's case, I want to show off more of his personality in these posts. But the design and layout already looks pretty good, so only a few minor adjustments will suffice. Begin by clicking the container and adding a bit of spacing between them. Now, as for the heading, I want to show an icon next to the ingredients and instructions headings. We can do that by adding an icon box widget. I'll use the search box to make it easier to find. We already have the heading style set up by the global style, so all that's left to do is set the alignment and change the icon. First, let's remove this description, we won't be needing it, and set the title to Ingredients. Now, let's change the icon. We can choose an icon from the icon library or upload our own SVG file. I already uploaded a bunch of Gabriel's illustrations as SVGs, so I'll choose this pear icon. Change the position to make the icon appear on the side of the heading. We'll adjust the size and alignment in a moment, but first let's change the title HTML tag to H2. We can change the alignment in the Style tab. Perfect. Delete the first heading. Copy and paste the icon box and repeat these steps for the second icon box widget. And we're done. Don't forget to publish your new post. When creating a new WordPress website, WordPress adds dummy content to help us get to know the system better. But once we're already familiar with everything and our site is ready to be published, this dummy content that once meant to help us unfortunately becomes redundant. Back in our WordPress dashboard, let's go top to bottom, clean up some unnecessary content and set up some important settings. Let's begin by cleaning up Gabriel's blog from irrelevant content. Going to posts, we can see the kit added blog posts. None of them are recipes though, so they have to go. Simply check this checkbox to select all these posts and under bulk actions choose move to trash. Then choose apply. Great. Thing is, WordPress doesn't let us delete our work so easily, so it keeps all the posts we've deleted in the trash. Then go to the trash and click empty trash. Perfect. Next, let's make sure Gabriel's blog is in order by going to categories. We currently have 2 categories, blog and uncategorized. Most of Gabriel's posts will be recipes, so instead of a general term, let's change the name to recipe. In the future, if and when Gabriel designs to post something personal, like a story or an update, he'll have another category he can use. Don't forget to update the slug too, which will be used for the URL. Next, go to comments and see if you have any dummy comments. Since we deleted all our posts, the comments on them were deleted as well. WordPress usually installs a dummy plugin called Hello Dolly, which is meant to help users understand what plugins are. Since you're a bit of an expert by this point, you can remove it. Go to plugins, search for the Hello Dolly plugin and delete it. Before we can delete any plugin, we need to deactivate it first. Very good. Our next order of business would be to go over our WordPress website settings and make sure everything is up to date and set up correctly. Going to settings, we can start by editing a few general settings, such as the site's name, site language, and time zone. We've already taken care of the site title and tagline earlier. Set the time zone to the area you live in and set the date format. That way, if you want to follow up specific activities or make sure about a date of a specific action on your site, you'll see the correct time and date in a recognizable format. And if your week doesn't start on Monday, you can change that here. Save your changes and continue to the next set of options under writing. Here, we can set the default category for new blog posts, which, as we can see, is already set to recipes. Next, under reading, we can set the site's homepage display, as well as how many posts will be shown on the main blog page of the website. This is also where we can make sure our site is indexed by search pages. This checkbox allows you to wait until the website is fully ready to be viewed online, so it is generally recommended to be left for the final step of building a website. Continue to discussion. This is where we manage discussions on our blog. First, I'll uncheck these first checkboxes, and if you want to avoid people commenting on your posts, you can go ahead and uncheck this third checkbox. You have more comments options below, and I encourage you to explore all of them and see what best suits your needs, since most of these are based on personal preference. You can also use this page to set the default avatar that will be shown for people commenting on your posts, in case they don't have their own avatar yet. And that's it. Our website is ready. And there you have it. You've built a website with WordPress and Elementor. I hope that this tutorial has helped you understand the benefits of using WordPress and Elementor hosting, and how simple it is to create a stunning and effective website with these tools. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials and tips on how to use WordPress and Elementor to create amazing websites. Thanks for watching.